Smash Factor.
Ripping driver, going for it. Oh my goodness. How about that tee shot?
That is crazy how far that is.
Wow. John Daly, take a back seat, big fella. How about that drive?
That's an aggressive line. That is beyond long.
Look at this, he's just driven the green. He has just driven the green.
I guess hello world, huh?
Welcome everybody to the Smash Factor Week 42 on the 2021-2022 PGA Tournament. Week 2 of the FedEx Cup playoffs at the BMW Championship at Williamton Country Club. Back and forth on doing this pod this week, as the community probably knows for sure. Bittersweet week last week. Obviously, DFS National or Fantasy Golf World Championship for DraftKings was an amazing week up until, unfortunately, shortly after we arrived on the course Sunday morning, received a call that my sister was killed around 4 or 5 a.m. that morning. So it kind of for sure changed the mindset and mood and what was going on. Unfortunately, with flights and the way it was out of Memphis, there really wasn't any way for me to get home. I found a 6 o'clock a.m. flight for Monday morning, which was about the quickest I could get there. So stayed at the course, was lucky enough to have some good guys around me, Tambo, Todd, Tommy's a new guy I met out there. Known Todd and Tambo, obviously Tambo known very closely. So it was good being around them. They definitely helped kind of keep my mind right for the rest of the day. And then, just that emotional battle with, Willie winning it, it was that bittersweet in the way you can say it. Wasn't all focused in, but it was certainly awesome to watch him get his first W live and in person. We kind of talked about it a little bit Saturday night, how we thought by the time we get to tomorrow night watch that the top 10 will kind of look pretty solid, even though it doesn't now. And it kind of turned out that way. I mean, I think Finau was up there. Rahm stormed up there. Morikawa, Willie Z. So many guys up there that Fitzpatrick. So turned out to be a decent board, although there were some, a lot of chalk kind of missed. Few got in right on the number, few missed right on the number, kind of swung the whole Fantasy Golf World Championship. But people kind of grieve differently. I'm certainly still digesting everything, but for me, doing the community, doing this stuff kind of keeps my mind focused and instead of just wandering off. So going to still go through this week, maybe a few things not done or a little different. Appreciate all the support from the Guts Corner community already. Definitely means a lot and helps a lot during these times. So last week, we'll get through that real quick, then we'll do the course, preview a little bit and get on with this week. A little bit different, a lot more strategy this week with the way the pricing is, no cut event. I think we're at 69 guys right now or so, maybe 68. So definitely a lot of builds to be had. So it's a lot more game theory type week, which I don't mind those. They can be good, they can be bad, but I'm interested in it. We got, DraftKings dropped a mega million, 444 this week. I have 2 tickets into that, so another shot at $1 million. So I'm looking forward to that part of it. Obviously, mind and focus is a little elsewhere, but we'll grind through this week and get through it. Main slate for me was ugly, and it was weird. I did a little bit of reviewing, kind of getting to the airport, getting on the plane, trying to just keep my mind off things. So my player pool was good. I thought it was horrible just the way the results ended out, but I only had like 15% of my pool, I think, missed the cut. But those 15-6 just killed all my sixes. I mean, so many of my sixes, not all of them. Billy Ho, Stallings, Henley, those kind of guys. And then you get Sung Jae and Connors make it in the number, who are super high owned, especially in like the Fantasy Golf World Championship. It's just one of those weeks. You can't fault your process too much by results. That's kind of, people always ask, well, what does that mean? If you just keep losing money, what does the process matter? And I'm always like, well, it's how you're, how close were you? So if, Billy Ho, Henley, who missed on the number, get in, and Sung Jae and Connors, who made it on the number, are out, it's probably a 6-figure swing for me in the Fantasy Golf Championship alone. Now, normal stuff, maybe not as big of a swing, but definitely that kind of, there's only 40 men in the field. So, it wasn't like Billy Ho shot +6 and that kind of deal. So that's what how close were you? And that's what I talked about a couple weeks ago, I think on E9, about make sure you're evaluating that next to last pool as well. Those guys that almost made it in, not because you want to say, oh, I almost had the nuts. It's more of, are you that close? Is their process that close to being really, really good, especially in PGA golf, which is super hard to get, right all the time. Finished 22nd, which was good. With a 3 of 6 in there. I had the best 3 of 6 and beat many 4 of 6s. So I'll take it. Was one spot away from jumping up to the next pay level as well. So was kind of sweating that out at the end. Needed Tom Kim to finish strong. He started strong, doubled 9, and really never kind of got it going. Cam Young was on that team. He went out early in the morning, kind of did what I wanted him to do. The bogey free would have been nice, but still 4 under. And then I had Willie in that lineup, of course. Last 2v2, just, all weekend you keep thinking about it. I talked to Tam and all those guys a lot, so they knew the 2v2 I looked at back and forth all the way until like 2 in the morning, Thursday morning, was Billy Ho and Stallings versus Cam Davis Riley. The Cam Davis Riley, huge amount of swing for me there if I go Davis and Riley. Probably overthought a little bit, went a little bit what I thought was safer. Billy Ho, great history, long history, not just like 2 years. Stallings coming in so good a form, where, Davis and Riley, high volatile type plays. I mean, they can score well. If they make the weekend, you're good. They can blow up in a heartbeat. That was kind of the last minute deal, but that was close, right? So I don't mind the process. I got where I got, is what it is. Bets were good. I hadn't recapped hardly anything yet. That's one thing I've been off of since I've been back. This is Tuesday morning, so just to kind of let you know, obviously a little bit later this week for obvious reasons, but hit Willie, 23-1. Love that. I didn't do a whole lot of betting, but I need to recap all that. I would imagine it was still an okay week. Back-to-back winners now. Tom Kim and Willie will go for the three-peat this week. See if we can finish this season out strong. I know a lot of people in the Slack had Willie. That was good. Saw a lot of green screens. Again, didn't get my time to go recap all that, but congrats to everybody that had a good week. If you'd like to join us right now, NFL gets you 30% off any package, includes a 7-day risk-free trial. This will go all the way through opening weekend of NFL, and that's pretty much the last big discount deal we'll do until really the Masters. So last big push here. If you want to come join us, come check it out. Free for 7 days. You never get charged. So on that 8th day or whatever, you'll get your charge. If you hadn't canceled, if you cancel, you never see anything, you get a free week. Check it out. See if you like it. Big things coming with PGA. Probably more so that January start. We may get to drop it mid-fall swing, kind of see how things work out. And always excited for NFL, college football. I think we do some good stuff there. Rate and review us on iTunes. I'll be doing drawings after that opening weekend of NFL. So that'll get you into the free drawings. These drawings will be, I bought a bunch of swag stuff at the tournament this week. Still got some master stuff over there. Be like for a major for us, for you guys that have been around for a while. And then subscribe to this channel, like the video, leave a comment in the video, tell me who you want to fade in the 9K range. 10 guys in the 9K range, so pretty loaded. Want to know who your fade is there. Last week's winners, the Tournament of Champions winner was Yancey Russell, 485. He had a 5 of 6, which is good enough in that. Obviously, smaller field, kind of like Fantasy Golf World Championship. Willie Z, Cam Young, Hovland, Morikawa, Taylor Moore, and then Lahiri. I think Lahiri was the one that missed the cut. Very solid lineup for that. Congrats on that. I will get the prizes and everything figured out pretty soon, but you can reach out to me, shoot me a message so I don't forget there. Yancey Russell, congrats on winning the Tournament of Champions. Lastly, last week's normal listener league winner was JT Capsnake. 536 points. Rahm, Finau, Hovland, Mitchell, Harmon, Merritt. Really solid lineup. I liked Merritt some last week, but I wasn't on him as much as some of the other guys were. Tambo had a pretty solid lineup I think he had in the $20 and the $10. I think he shipped the $10 that had Merritt, and I think he got 4th in the $20. I know we were sweating he had a big sweat on the Willie, whether Willie won or not. Obviously he won, so it helped him. So I think he finished 4th in that. Merritt's round was kind of crazy on Sunday. I think he had a eagle, birdies, a triple, maybe even a quad. It was just crazy, crazy round, but he scored okay, right? So, congrats to Tambo. He had a pretty good, solid main slate week, even though he wasn't in the Fantasy Golf World Championship. I think he's got a couple tickets to the 444 now too for this week. So hopefully him and I can go up there and do some work. Course preview, Wilmington Country Club. As always, I would divert you to Kenny Kim's article on the website. He goes in much more detail. New course this year. Obviously, you'll hear it over and over. No one's never been played by PGA. I did do a lot of reviewing, especially like when we had some downtime Friday and Saturday, kind of prepping. Normally don't do that, but with a new course, I wanted to kind of look at it. When I was kind of chilling, hanging out. Par 71, 7,500 yards. Robert Trent Jones design. 3 par 5s, 4 par 4s, 2 par 5s on paper, long 600 plus yards. Your typical tree line fairways, very typical Robert Trent Jones layout, large, quick bent greens, really large, almost double what we saw last week. Looking like it's Kentucky bluegrass rough, but it's looking and hearing so far that potentially get a little bit thicker. Maybe keep a little more penalty on that so they don't get a runaway like we had at Caves last year, where it was, I think, 24, 26 under won it. And lots of fairway bunkers. I think more than anything, hopefully we get a little bit just the pressers and releases and stuff, listening to the players, trying to see, what will be best to focus on as we get closer and closer to Wednesday night. Weather looks nice, so that's good. Maybe some rain Sunday, very light chance and very little, but that's it. Until then, low, mid 80s, cool weather for what I consider cool. Up there it may be warm. Today we're like 105, lowish winds, so the winds really don't even look too crazy. It's a no-cut event, obviously, so everybody will go as long as they don't withdraw. So no really like wave stacking or anything like that. I mean, I guess you still may have some wave stacking, but everybody gets to play all 4 days. My guess is I think the winner could come in around that 16 to 19 under, somewhere in that range. Prior winners, and this would just be BMW Championship. Not much help here, but I guess you could go by, hey, guys that with 2 weeks to go or very end of the season, FedEx, who's kind of shown up. Cantley won, Rom, JT, Keegan, DJ, some runner-ups, Berger, he's not in it this week, but Cantley, another runner-up, Billy Horschel won back in 2014, Rory, a lot longer back, but, course fit and all that's just kind of going to be, some anecdotal this week. You're going to try to you can throw out a bunch of different comps that you want. Looking at Robert Trent Jones designs, maybe some courses just look like they lay out the same type of way. On my rankings, I put the last 6 BMW championships. I labeled them by the name of the course, so people would know where there was, just for eye viewing more than anything. List for me. So the stats I'm looking at right now, I'm going to go good drives, strokes gain approach, good approach, opportunities inside 18 feet, birdie or better, bogey avoidance, and par 4 DK scoring. Is kind of where I'm at. Ranges was 5 in the 10K. Obviously, Cam Smith withdrew, so only 4 10K, 10 9K, 10 8K, 15 7K, and 29 6K. Obviously, typical no-cut. It's kind of, if you've been around golf, the WGC layouts, as far as pricing and stuff, this is very similar, very flat. Cam was the highest price, so with him being in the algorithm and actually posted on DraftKings as a play, it really makes it, some people call it soft. I more call it flat pricing. You can fit a lot. You can go a lot of different ways. You can get unique very much. You can go balanced, be fine. You can try to fit 4 9K and 10K guys and then drop down. You can go 3 9K and drop. Really a lot of different ways to build this week, and almost build any way you want. Just putting the player pool together with the best guys and seeing how it comes out. As we get to Wednesday, we'll probably get some more, what's it feel like the community will be leaning towards. My gut is that most people will try to get, 1 or 2 at least of the 10K, and really load up on this 9K that I think is going to be pretty popular. Maybe that lets the 8K be a little less popular, and then you fill it in by peppering the 7 and 6, because you got, I mean, this isn't your typical, and again, that's why it's so important. We talk about don't have the sticker shock, good or bad, Molinex this week, right? That's probably sticker shock good. You're like, oh man, look what he did last week and he's only 6,200. It's all relative to the field, right? So being important of that and making sure you understand that and not falling for certain, overpriced, underpriced, what you can perceive as that versus relative to the field. Maybe it is priced right. There's still going to be a few that may have been off on pricing, but I definitely think there's still plenty of ways to get different this week and have some leverage on the field with some high upside. Sweet 16, normally dial it down because there's only 68 guys, but I pretty much kept it the same this week. 3 picks I like, a bubble boy, fade of the week, sleeper of the week, gut feel plays, then betting 5 that pop and 2 long shots provided by Prize Pick. Then we'll wrap it up, get back. Can't promise anything for tomorrow on the pod. I will try to. And same thing with E9. It just kind of depends on how things are going with the family and stuff. 9K and above. I'm going to start with Tom Kim. I really think figuring out, I think between Kim, M, and Cam Young, there's going to be some squeeze there because so many plays above, I think, are going to be a lot of clicks, right? I think, JT Rom probably pretty popular. Maybe Willie coming off the wins, a little downgrade. Rory didn't look great, but, he's shaking off rust. Is he going to be low on? Because now he's default the highest price, but it's still only 10.5. You got Finau coming in hot. Potential Scheffler bounce back week. Burns is always popular. Xander's been looking good. Fitzpatrick probably somewhat popular this week. The Morikawa, paid off a lot of people last week at 87. Gets a price bump at 94. I think he could be popular. So it would be interesting to see how that all kind of shakes out. But I still like Tom Kim, especially, I don't know if there's going to be a premium on hitting fairways. You can hear a lot of different versions of that. I think it's still going to be important. The more you're in the fairway, the better. And, Tom can hit it far enough, and he hits just a ton of fairways. And the rest of his game is just great right now. He finished 13th, and that's with the double on 9. Had it up to 5th, which was doing me really good, but fell back a little bit. But his last 4 tournaments, the 26th, the 7th, the 1st, and the 13th. He's 20 years old. The reason why I think he'll probably be lower is because I think we could hear some of that. This is his, 7th, 8th week in a row, and we talked about that a little bit Sunday while we were at the tournament. That if this was middle of the summer and this week is the John Deere Classic and he was playing, I'd probably be like, man, why does he just not take this week off? Take a break. But for these guys, the mentality is like, I got this week and next week, and then I can take off as much as I want, especially him because he got the win. So he's locked in. He don't even have to grind the fall swing necessarily. He'll probably play some if he doesn't want to. So I think he just says, I'm young, I'm ready. Let's keep this thing rolling. So I like him. I'm going to stick on him, not getting off. I hope the price increase, which has gone up and up and up, put some people off of him. Sung Jae, very popular last week. Wound up being the number 1 owned, as we kind of thought once Hideki went off, which Hideki wasn't going to be high on, but it would just boosted even more Sung Jae because they were $100 apart. Continuing to play well. A second, a 12th coming into here. He got an 11th at Medina, 3rd last year at Caves. There's been some comparison to Caves. So, he's 8th in bit putting. He loves bent putting. Recent form 5th. There's just a lot of like there. I hope maybe he gets a little push down too. 9,100. I don't mind that at all. Willie Z, I'll go back there. Kind of listened to his presser. And the one statement that kind of caught my eye was, it was great to get it off, but I kind of feel like I'm still in the I'm still in the game. I still got a lot to do in the next 2 weeks, so I'm ready to focus and get going. Continues to look improved. You pull some of the putting stats from the Pga Championship to now, which I talked about that several weeks ago when he mentioned one night at the PGA or maybe right before the PGA, some small things they saw watching footage of them and made some tweaks there. And if you pull that small sample size, much better on the putting, and I think it could only get better there. He's number 1 in my stat model, 9th in recent form. Cheapest to the 10K range, even though it's not much because they're all right there, 10, 10-1, 10-3, 10-5. So I like him, and I hope maybe I got the monkey off his back. I'll just go elsewhere this week. $300 for Rom or drop down to Scheffler, Finau, Fitz, those kind of guys. Maybe he gets a little bit less owned, which would be great. I'll take that this week all day. Bubble Boys, Finau, it's just a threshold of how high owned does he get. Flirted with him, playing him in the Fantasy Golf World Championship last week. Had it down to 11 guys, Wednesday. By Wednesday evening, I was 11 guys for the 6 spots. And I should have just trusted it. He's just been playing so good. And now we come back to like his last 5 BMW championships. I know they're all different courses, but just think about the mindset end of the year. 7th, 8th, 4th, 5th, 15th. His last 3 tournaments, 1st, 5th. So just tremendous form. Number 1 in par 4 DK, number 1 bogey avoidance, 6th in birdie or better, 2nd in approach, 14th in good drives. I mean, he's just playing so good right now that I just have to see what his ownership looks like it's going to be and what's my threshold there. That's the only reason why he's a bubble boy. I think you may hear some, and we got a lot of it last week. By Wednesday night, Sam Burns was going to be 24%. I was like, no, he's not. It's just the biggest thing people miss out on is the mathematical implications of 6 guys fitting into a lineup. And so everybody talks about popularity and stuff, but they miss out on the part of mathematically can all these guys fit in all these lineups, and it just doesn't happen at that high of ownership when you're talking about the higher price guys. And I think this week, a smaller field, so we'll get some higher owned guys just naturally. There's only 68 guys, but I think the flatness of it will be very spread out, especially the 9 and 10K range. I really, on a normal week, if there's a full field, I would just say I don't see many over 20%. Now this week there'll be some over 20% because there's only 68 guys, but I think it's going to be very tight and almost come down to play your guys. Who's your favorite? I mean, you're splitting hairs, especially 9 and 10K range. There may be 1 or 2, like I said, squeeze through, get squeezed down and get, a little gap from ownership, and we may get to, some leverage there. But up top, I think a lot of these guys are going to be owned, and mainly talking about the 150 max type stuff. There'll be some guys that, are certainly in single entry and stuff like that will eclipse 30% and stuff. But I do think it'll be fairly flat across the board. 8K range, I'm going to start with Cam Young. Just couldn't putt, and I think he lost 6 strokes or something like that. I know going into Sunday, he lost over 6 strokes between around the green and putting, and majority of it was putting. But tee to green, he was top 3 in the field. Played him Sunday, still didn't putt well, and still shot 4 under with the bogey. So I'll go back to him. Bent, he hadn't had great statistics, so a little concern there, but we'll deep dive on that and kind of see what courses he's played, and maybe, this will be a little faster, pure green. So maybe that's something he does well on. I don't know. I have to look at the courses, and I'll deep dive on that, later on today, and that'll be included in my updated rankings, but I'm not shying off of him at all. Aaron Wise, a guy I played last week, but only in my big pools. I didn't get there in the 3 max. Did okay. 31st. Somewhat popular last week. Probably get a little popular this week. 13th at the Windham. His bent putting is not great but he's not great in general. He's another guy like Willie that it looks like if you look at a shorter term deal, he's really getting it together. So I like that. Stats wise, he's no worse than 31st in the field. But 24th, 23rd, 10th, 17th, 25th. So I think he has some upside there. $8,100. It's certainly a great price. Again, we're getting 4 rounds. He's a guy that can have 1 bad round, a couple bad holes or whatever, but that 4 rounds of scoring, I can see him doing well there in the field this week. Neiman, kicking myself for not taking a much closer look at Neiman last week, especially the auto chalk pivot off of Billy Ho for $100 less. Now, I did play him in the MME stuff, but didn't even – I was just worried about the rust and shaking it off, but, man, he looked good. 13th in the field last week. 11 course fit model that I built. I like that. 7th birdie or better. I'll be interested to see if he gets chalked up a lot. That may take me a pause, but I play him all the time. I kick myself for not taking a stronger look at him last week, but I don't mind him at 8,600. And the bubble boy for me is Connors. He was the one that I decided not to play. I knew he would be high, and he was. I think he was 50% or something in the Fantasy Golf World Championship. Makes the cut on the number. Henley misses on the number. That kind of deal just kind of crushes you. But I just want to see how many people could jump back to him quickly. Did okay. Made it on the number. Up and down weekend. 28th, which isn't horrible. His last 3 BMW championships, 7th, 33rd, 22nd. Course fit ranking, he's 10th for me. 11th in the stats. I like him. This is all about ownership. It's kind of like Finau for me. Let's see how it shakes out. Is that another spot I can take a risk and fade? Or is it not that high of ownership where I can get my leverage and he make the pool? But that's why he's the bubble boy. 7K range, Mito. Another guy, I was 5x the field on him last week in MME, but had 0 chances I was going to play him on the 3 max type stuff. So he scored well. He had a lot of birdies, bogeys. One time, I think on Sunday, he hit 4 in a row, and then he goes bogey. So maybe that keeps some people off of him. He only finished 42nd, but he made a cut. Again, 71st. I like Mito. He's one of those guys, can score, but can have that bogey come in this kind of format. I like that. Outside of bogey avoidance, he's 8th, 14th, 9th, 8th, 12th, and 16th in my stat model, the key stats I'm looking at. So probably a little bump there. I don't think he'll get super over-owned. Love the price. I think that's a good starting part. Cam Davis, that's lock and load for me. No cut event. Yeah, no question. No questions at all for there. I'll play him. Probably he's one that's high owned, and I'll just have to get overweight on him. He just scores too much. And the triple here doesn't matter as much with four rounds to go. He's coming in with the 16th, the 14th, and the 13th, his last 3 tournaments. I'm all in on that. Davis Riley, same deal. He scores pretty well. Not as well as Cam Davis, but we know what hurts him. And sometimes when he misses the cut on the number, so it's like he's got a quad or a triple. Even Sunday, great round Sunday. Really moved up for me, helped me a lot in showdown, and then doubles 18 to lose the all 60 bonus and kind of, put a damper on that Sunday round. But he can play, he can score. Don't mind him at all, especially $7,500. I'll have him in the pool. And then Pendrith, I think this course could fit well for him. Did okay last week. He's one that made the cut, had a rough Saturday, I believe. Yes, Saturday it was. Cause I was like, oh man, I'm getting on some Pendrith. Showdown. I didn't think he'd be very looked at. He shot like +6 or something. I know when I first looked, when I finally looked at him, he was +6 at one time. I think Sunday came back a little bit. He's that high volatile player that's a guy that I may play in a no-cut event. So, bubble boy, because he could pick up some steam. I'm not sure. Before last week, a second and a 13th. 68th last week, so he almost finished last after making it may have been Sunday it was Saturday was his bad round. So he must not have just done much Sunday. I think he was around even, but either way, that price, I like that guy. High upside, but he's a high risk reward play. He's 4th in bit putting in the field too, so that's a positive. 6K range, Stallings has a good chance to be the flop lag this week. Probably killed a lot of people. Was high owned in a lot of things. I definitely had him. He's playing so good going in that if people want to jump off of him, and he's going to be low owned now, especially at $6,600. I'll go right back there all day. Taylor Moore, had plenty of him last week. He made the cut, still did all right. 31st, 5th at the Windham, 6th at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. So he's coming in playing pretty well. Iron game can be a little off at times, but 15th in opportunities inside 18 foot, 11th in birdie or better, 18th in bogey avoidance, 13th in par 4 DK scoring, and 25th in good drives. So at that price tag, I really like his upside. Alex Smalley, hoping he goes low owned. I hope he could potentially be a good pivot off of what I think Molinax will be very popular this week. He's an up and down guy, and he tends to always, I say always, I hate saying that word, but a lot of the times when he misses the cut, even last week, I think he's on the number or one off. He's right there. And so you get a no-cut event, 6,100 is super cheap in this. You don't have to, so last 3 were miscut, 13th miscut, and I think he missed the number or was one off in both those miscuts. He's better than half the field in every stat that I have. 19th in good drives, 9th in opportunities inside 18 feet, 15th in par 4, 23rd in bogey avoidance. So I'll go there for that price. I like that a lot. Windham Clark is my bubble boy. I don't play him a lot. He was more popular than I thought he would be last week. Didn't necessarily pay off, 28, but I think he outscored. He's one of the guys I had marked that outscored his finishing position. He's 3rd in bent putting. We know he can hit it, great off the tee. 2nd in par 4 DK scoring, 15th in birdie or better. $65 is a good price. Maybe he gets popular. I don't think he maybe not as much as Molnex, but he's on my radar as a potential play there too. Fade of the week, I assume I'll finalize this more tomorrow because it's really going to be driven on kind of, I'm way behind on research for this week, but I'll have some time this evening to get everything caught up. Research meaning pods and all that kind of stuff. But in, reading articles and all that's where I kind of gauge the ownership. I assume Morikawa is going to be highly talked about and played this week. Missed some putts down the stretch that kept him out of what probably the playoff could even potentially outright won it. He is 59th out of 68 in bent putting, the deal I originally pulled. And maybe the deep dive comes and something looks better. We know his iron plays are great. I get it. Good finish, 5th. And high up. I'm just assuming he's going to be one of the higher owns in the 9K, and so that's why I got him. I can move off of that, and I like a lot of other plays in there better. May change by tomorrow. I'll certainly update that on the pod tomorrow, assuming I'm able to make some time to do that. Sleeper of the week. This is kind of hard because you do get a lot higher ownership, only having 68 guys across the board. Whereas normal weeks, we have some guys that are 0.01 and 2%, 1%. A lot of these guys at least get 3, 4, 5. But occasionally he's just kind of a guy that I kind of think may not pop off anybody's page just right out the bat. $6,400. He's mid-pack for me. Coming in okay, is 61st at Windham, the 20th last week. He got a 12th last year at Caves. I like KH, especially if I think it's more like that 18, 19, 20 under. If I thought it was 11, 12 under, maybe not as high. He can get hot. He's 12th in bent putting. He's just okay in the stats, right? So if his putter gets hot and he's hitting fairways, he's $6,400. Now, I just think he may be a lower owned guy down there we could take a look at. Sleeper is really hard this week because everybody's going to have ownership, but he's one that stuck out to me. Some gut feel play. So other guys that kind of caught my eye in this first run of views. Poston, 7,300. Just solid, plain solid all the way around. Nothing's going to pop off the page for you. He's 8th in recent form at 11th, at 21st, and at 20th. Keith Mitchell was high owned last week pretty much. Made the cut, didn't do much. Would make a run and kind of fall back. Finished 31st. He's 7th in bit putting for me, which kind of surprised me because he kind of categorized him as the Bermuda guy. But good drives. He's 3rd, 26th in birdie or better, 29th in bogey avoidance. He's a little bit more risk reward, but $7,400. I don't mind that. Tagala, played some of him last week. Liked it. Finished 13th. Always seems to kind of go under the radar to an extent. I don't know if that'll change this week, but $7,300. I like him. And then Hovland. I don't know if this set will sound stupid by the time I get to tomorrow night. It's just a gut feel play, so it's not like I'm saying he's under the radar. But I kind of see if we're a little maybe worried about Rory, and maybe we say we give him one more week to get things tightened down. Which if Rory winds up being, everybody's just going to pass on him. Certainly, I'll take my chances there. But I've always kind of thought Vic was kind of like a mini Rory, especially kind of off the tee type stuff. And I don't think around the green and short game is going to matter much here, because if you're relying on that, you're probably up against it with ththese big greens at 8,100 square feet. 20th last week, 17th last year at Caves. He's 6th in course fit model, 15th on bent putting. I like Hovland. He almost made my list up top, so he'd be like my, put a star by him because I think I like him this week. I hadn't been on him in a while, but I think this week I like him a lot. Betting top 5 the pop and 2 long shots provided by Prize Picks. You can use GUP, G-U-P. Link is in the description. Dollar for dollar match up to $100. Been doing pretty well. We had some lull there, but I think we got some coming back. A lot of guys in the Slack talk about it all the time. That and Underdog, that link is the same. So when you go there, you can pick one or the other or both. Underdog, a lot of people love the putt for cup. Hopefully that I think it almost filled. Hopefully they kind of take that test run and before January, basically make a best ball, like the best ball mania they do for NFL. It won't be the $10 million pot, but make one for the season next year. Everybody draft 15 players. Maybe they take the top 150, or maybe they take the 125 that we know got card. I don't know how they make the player pool, but that'd be super fun if Underdog did that for a season long best ball for PGA. I'll talk to my guys and certainly push it as much as I can, but the NFL best balls on there are going hot and heavy right now. Tons of it, chatter and Slack about it. So if you want to join that as well, it's the same code, GUP, dollar for dollar match up to $100. I'll have my prize picks and underdog picks for tomorrow for round 1 as well. Top 5 for me, I like Young, 25 to 30-ish. Sung Jae, same 25 to 30-ish. Neiman, 40. Wise, 50. And Cam Davis, 66. 2 long shots I like. Mito, 100. And Windham Clark, 125. One and done. If you're still sweating it, congrats. You got 2 weeks left. I'd really just look at who's my best players left. Narrow it down to, maybe you got 3 left, 4 left, and just see where your leverage is against the other guys around you. If you're already up there, I would do that. If you're like, say I need 2 good weeks, maybe you go, who's my top 5, and maybe you go, who's going to give me super leverage this week? So if you make the jump this week, then you can play, a little more solid player next week. But, if you have questions, personal questions, or you're thinking about this guy or that guy, just shoot me a DM. I'll get on Twitter, or if you're in the Slack, I'll give you my advice on that. I need to look, see how I did last week. I think I had Willie in one of them. I hit Tom Kim the week before in my best stuff, so maybe I jumped a little bit and I was okay. I was kind of bubbling 2 weeks ago, so maybe I can make a little run. Again, tomorrow, pod, E9, all that. My plan is to do them, but I'll just have to see how today goes and tomorrow as well. Don't forget, NFL, 30% off, includes a 7-day risk-free trial. PayPal, guys. I said this on Wednesday's pod, so I just want to put it out there. Make sure there's a lot of PayPal subs about to renew here in August because a lot of people sign up for football and stuff. If you're a PayPal sub, we put out a big email in March. Sometimes that gets lost in the shuffle, saying we moved all of our subscription stuff to one vendor, so one processor. So we don't take PayPal anymore, and your subscription will not renew. This will kind of come up again in February, where we always have that big push February up until the Masters. And if you are a guy in February and everything, same deal for you. It won't renew. You should be getting emails with a personalized code to sign up on the site again, so you keep your pricing. All your pricing will be kept. We've already done all the back work on that, so you're not going to lose your pricing. But if you are a PayPal, you're like, man, I didn't realize that. DM me if you have questions. We got you locked in. Your price isn't moving. You just have to sign up with this personalized code to get you back on our new processor. Nothing on PayPal will renew, and it hasn't since March moving forward. So reach out to me if you have any questions on that. Hope you guys have a great Tuesday. Probably one thing I'd just say, life is too short, right? So make sure you reach out to those family, friends. If you got family members, close ones you hadn't seen in a while, talked to in a while, it's always worth the time just to reach out and say hello. Hope you guys have a good day. I'll talk to you later.